Mainstream to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/signup and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection from deception.
Texas church shooting, Hanukkah stabbing. I'm Ann Cates. The gunman who opened fire in a church near Fort Worth, killing two, was shot to death by a parishioner.
A law passed in Texas in 2017 allowed for churches to train congregants to be armed during a service and respond if needed. The West Freeway Church of Christ in White Settlement took part in that program, which Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton says saves lives.
They did the right things, and I think they are the model for what other churches and other places of business need to focus on.
Police say the shooter was shot and killed within 6 seconds of gunning down two parishioners. Clayton Neville, Dallas.
The suspect, accused of stabbing 5 people at a Hanukkah party near New York City, has been charged with hate crimes. Correspondent Steve Kastenbaum reports Grafton Thomas appeared in court today.
The federal complaint against Thomas alleges that he filled a journal full of anti-Semitic writing and expressed an affinity for the Black Hebrew Israelites, a fringe group that claims white Jews are fakes. The court papers allege that the 38-year-old used his cell phone to search for, quote, Zionist temples, end quote, and to find stories about police protecting Jews. His family claims he has a history of mental illness.
Iraq has condemned U.S. airstrikes in its country and Syria, targeting a Hezbollah militia in retaliation for the death of an American civilian contractor. Correspondent Bob Costantini.
Caught in between two allies, Iraq's Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi described the airstrikes as a violation of his nation's sovereignty, and it has prompted renewed calls from Iraqi politicians for the U.S. to pull all remaining forces out of Iraq. President Trump has kept several thousand troops in Iraq at the request of the Pentagon, with American-built facilities as a base for combating terrorism in the entire Middle East.
Wall Street retreated today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell, closing down 183 points. The S&P off 19. The Nasdaq down 61. I'm Ann Cates.
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
Astronauts to the moon.
10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Not to get off track here, but I feel like we're in the Truman Show and we're in a snow globe and they just shook it up.
Welcome to reality.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your protection from deception right here at truthfrequencyradio.com or simulcasting on the Jeranism Raw YouTube channel and on dlive.tv/Jeranism as well. So wherever you might be, you are listening to the current, reigning, defending, and unarguably the number one show on Truth Frequency Radio on Monday nights between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m. Pacific, 9 to 11 Eastern. That show is Jeranism Monday Night Raw, and it starts right now. I'm your host, Jeran from Jeranism, and my co-host, my compadre, mi compa, mi amigo, the one and only David Weiss. David.
Jeran.
David, are you there?
Jeran, I am here, and I'm hoping to have the right volume setting on my microphone and distance to have quality audio with a semi-quality voice.
Yeah, I doubt that highly. But happy New Year's Eve. Is that such a thing?
Yeah, New Year's Eve. It's like Christmas Eve.
All right. That's very exciting. I think we are missing our special guest, aren't we?
That could or could not be because some idiot forgot to tell him until the last second, and he'll be home in 30 minutes and join the call.
All right, good. So my little graphic I made isn't completely wrong.
Yeah.
All right, well, welcome to the show. It is Jeranism Monday Night Raw. It is December 30th, 2019. We do have a special guest joining us. That's Jason Lindgren from, of course, Crow 777 Radio. Also, Secrets of Saturn podcast, or Secrets of Saturn is the YouTube channel. If you want to subscribe to him, you should do that immediately. Dave, we have a special message to play, though.
We do?
Are you ready? Yeah, we are. Yes.
Am I ready? Go ahead.
Okay, here we go.
Hello, Jeran. It's President Donald Trump. I wanted to wish you and all your subscribers a happy new year. 2020 is going to be the year of flat Earth. No more collusion with the globeheads. The globeheads' time is coming to an end, and I gotta say, there's a total witch hunt going on to take out all the great flat earthers. My favorite YouTube channel is Jeranism. Totally recommend subscribing to Jeranism today. It's big league. 2020, let's keep America flat.
Very kind of President Trump to reach out.
He's kind of a flip-flopper.
He is a bit of a flip-flopper.
Because he also called the Flat Earth Podcast, left a message with his favorite channel being the Flat Earth Podcast.
Really?
Yeah, he did.
He gets a little bit confused. I think he's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
So it's hard to keep track of that. For people who don't know, that is my good friend Josh Rosen. If you want to know his YouTube channel, he has like 350 subscribers, which is a total hoax. It should be much more than that. He's a much better comedian than that. I think I saw his most recent video. He does Trump, he does Obama, and a Jewish Obama at that, which is pretty impressive. He does Woody Allen, and he does somebody else. I forgot now. But anyway, his YouTube channel is Plant-Based Comedian, and you should subscribe right now. If you're not doing anything, this very second, go over Plant-Based Comedian, subscribe. Josh Rosen, he's awesome. Thank you very much for that message, Josh. That's always great to get those little updates from you. So thank you very much to President Trump. Dave, you had a good Christmas and everything?
Yeah, it was great. Kids were home. Just hung out. Didn't have to drive anywhere. It was very nice.
On I don't know if it was the 21st or 20th or something, we had to go to like a little family dinner. We drove about near Fresno, so about an hour from me, and I went into 7-Eleven to get some scratchers for my nieces and nephews because I'm a good uncle and that's all I get them for Christmas. But anyway, so I go in there and the guy at the register is looking at my shirt, and I have my Eddie Bravo 10th plain shirt, right? So he looks at me and he says, oh, Eddie Bravo, man. I love Eddie Bravo. I'm like, oh, yeah, me too. And I said, so you're flat? And he gives me this weird look and he goes, don't tell me you're one of those. I said, well, I thought you said you love Eddie. He's like, well, let me change that. I love everything about Eddie except for that he thinks the earth is flat. So I'm like, oh man, we got to talk more, man. We got to talk about this. It's like, that's his best feature. That's like the best thing about him. And he's like, you know what? Now that I've actually met somebody in person, I've never met a flat earther in person. Now that I've met you and you seem like a decent person and you seem like you're half sane, I'm going to look into it. So I gave him
the ultimate weapon?
The Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app?
Yes.
I did not, but I did send him to your channel. Oh. Because it's the easiest one to pass somebody on to, and, TITRH. It's very easy. He wrote that down, and he wrote down my channel. So
there you go.
Plugged. But we'll see what happens. Hey, maybe next time I'm down in Fresno, I'll cruise by the 7-Eleven and see what's going on.
You can give them my channel, your channel, or Taboo Conspiracy channel, or if you want to make it easier, Taboo Conspiracy.
Right. No, I said, ooh. I knew where you were going with this.
Or if you want to make it easy, where do you send them?
You can send them to the brand new Globebusters 24/7 channel. There is 2 24/7 channels from Globebusters, and if you are on the YouTube feed right now, you can scroll down into the description and see those links. There's now 2 Globebuster 24/7 channels, and one of them, the most recent one, is filled with some, I forgot how many videos Bob said, hundreds
2,000.
of 2,000?
I think so. I don't know. A lot of videos.
A lot of videos, mostly DITRH, Jeranism, and Taboo Conspiracy 2, with more to follow. But that is awesome. So people should definitely head over there, subscribe to both those channels again. And I'm sure if Bob, I haven't looked at the chat yet. Let's see. Is our sound all working good? I think so. Haven't heard anybody text me or anything. Let's see here. Bob, there you go. Boom. Bob On Demand is already posting links to both those channels.
You know how people in America and I guess across the world, the thing that people do prior to Flat Earth is they have CNN or Fox on in the background all the time, right?
Unfortunately.
I mean, people just have the news running 24/7. It's crazy. I mean, I can't even fathom that anymore. But now you just put this on, like if you have Apple TV, a smart TV, whatever, you just put that on in the background. It's so nice. You know, when you have a minute to sit down and listen, you're listening. Otherwise, you could just be listening, with one ear. And it's phenomenal. It's so relaxing and thrilling. I love it. I love it.
David got one of the best gifts of the year. I saw a flat Earth giant cookie, and it was presented under a dome. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was Paige's daughter made me, a dinner plate size cookie with the flat Earth and icing around the outside. It was beautiful. And then Paige goes, "Oh, you're not going to eat it now," and she put the dome over it. We have like a pie, plate dome, and I was just like, I can never eat it now.
Right, stuck under there forever. But I bet you there was gas pressure under there. If you were to get in there and actually measure it.
I bet you there was a gradient of gas pressure, heavier on the bottom, lighter on the top.
Oh, it must be gravity.
Speaking of gravity, did you watch Zach's new video?
No, because somebody who told me they were going to send it to me didn't.
What?
Weren't you supposed to send me something?
That's probably when I was supposed to call Jason and tell him he was on the show. It's on the app. It's actually on the app right now. Everybody go to your app. We'll pause the show for 5 minutes and 15 seconds.
It's great radio.
Yeah, well, actually, during the break, if you watch it on double time, you'll be done before the break's over, and you're good to go. It's on the app now. So to keep it short, Zach, we talk about a negative charge of the Earth. Remember Team Bob and David versus Team Jeran?
Every time you say that, think of the GIF I sent you, just so you know. Anyway, go ahead.
So Zach's been doing some work along, it's Zach and Bob, and they have there's a whole team of them over there, I think, secretly working on this stuff. And when you put a bunch of magnets together, it becomes an incoherent mass, which is less powerful than magnets lined up north, south, north, south, north, south, right? You've seen that one?
Gotcha.
So he showed that when you have an incoherent mass, if you take a negative, the negative side of a pole magnet and attract it to one of the balls in the mass, it attracts. But what's crazy is because it's an incoherent mass, when you turn it around, the opposite side, the positive side and the negative side, both attract to the same part of that mass.
Wow. So you're saying basically treating the Earth as the incoherent magnet, which would be just a bunch of particles.
Charged particles. All particles are electric or energetic in nature. So the Earth is an incoherent mass, which has a super weak attraction to it. It's above my pay grade, but it makes total sense.
It's starting to make sense to me too.
Yeah, so that's on the app right now, and he titled it "Is Gravity Incoherent Magnetism?" with a question mark for anyone out there that's thinking that we're saying this is the end all positive.
Of course not.
Question mark. It sure makes a lot of sense. It's something that's testable, observable, repeatable, and it gives us establishes a weak force down.
I like it. Now, so it doesn't ever repel. It's not ever repelling anything then. It's only attraction?
Well, you know what? I haven't seen it repel anything. I saw it attract a positive and a negative, and that says a lot. The fact that you can have an incoherent mass, if you think about it, particles are charged. We can probably all agree on that. You put them all together, like the Earth, the size of the Earth. So now you have this massive isn't even the word. You have Earth that has this attraction to it. I don't know I don't have the words for it. I don't know. Is it a force? Is it whatever it is? It establishes a down in this crazy world that we have, and that's it. Watch the video. Makes you think. I think we're getting every day we're learning more and more, and
closer.
We're learning more and more every day. Amazing stuff.
Good stuff. Thanks, Zach. I'll definitely check that out. And what I watched today, I watched Red Pill Philosophy, finally, the interview with the former NASA satellite engineer turned flat earther. You saw that?
I got halfway through it, and then I got distracted. I got to go back to it, but that's also excellent.
People should check that out. I think you have to go to BitTube. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, I've been having I love BitTube, but I've been having problems playing it on my phone. It doesn't play in the background, which
Neither
is
does DLive.
Yeah, I know that too.
Did you figure out? Oh, you said you were looking for a fix, but that upsets me.
Yeah, it doesn't play in the background. So, that, and it's unfortunate right now. I can't play anything but YouTube on the app. So I wanted to feature Red Pill's video, but I can't even download it off of BitTubers.
Interesting. Yeah, but that's a excellent video. People should definitely check that out. I thought, it's just great to hear somebody who's a former NASA satellite engineer talking about how, he hears everybody saying everybody's in on it. And of course, that's not the way it works, that, they all develop their own things. They send them off. They never know where those things go or if they even go. It's not part of the game. So people should definitely check that out. Tune into that on BitTuber, then, not BitTube?
I think it's BitTubers.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, there's getting to be a lot out there. Yeah. Hey, so somebody, I hope they're listening to the show. Somebody had emailed me about one of my balloon rocket videos, talking about my latest balloon rocket video. We're talking about the power it takes to hover a few feet above the ground versus the power it takes to hover more than a few feet above the ground, versus the power it takes to slow something down on its way to the ground. And they're an ex-military person. I forget. They had some credentials, and I lost your email, but I thought that would be great. They need to contact Taboo Conspiracy for a Glowbusters Pro video, Taboo and Bob or whoever they contact. But the guy had some great information, and I lost it, and I can't find it. So if you're listening, reach out to me again, or reach out to Glowbusters Pro. What is it? What is that email? GlowbustersPro@gmail.com?
No, it's glowbusterspro@jeranism.com.
There you go.
Anybody out there who is somewhat of a subject matter expert, or maybe you're ex-military or current military or anything like that, if you've got something to say, contact those two guys, or at least that email address. And Bob and Ben have been setting up interviews, and they've been amazing. The most recent one, Glowbusters Pro 2, was simply incredible. So Bob did an excellent job. He says he's honing in on his interviewing skills, but I think they were pretty fantastic. I thought the video was great.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Thank you very much to Artie the Bear for the super chat, and shout out to all the bears who are here. I know there's a lot on DLive, so that's good. I did have to say a couple thanks just real quick to Suzanne in South Korea for a very nice Christmas card. Also, Paul, I got
double that. Thank you, Suzanne. I got one also.
Oh, you did? Okay. And Paul, who sent me a family Christmas card. He's from Tacoma, Washington. Very nice card. He wanted an opinion on Brian Mullen. I think he wanted me to ask on one of the Friday lounges. But I can give my opinion on the Brian Mullen situation. I think I've done it many times before. And then I got one from Marjorie, a very nice Christmas and New Year's card. So thank you to everybody. And if you want to send me something, you can always do so at my P.O. Box, which is Jeranism, P.O. Box 3044, Merced, California, 95344. So awesome to those who have done so. I love getting cards and things through the mail. But yeah, the opinion of Brian Mullen, kind of the way I saw it, is Brian Mullen was really involved and he was putting out good videos and obviously had his balls out physics video. And then it appears that he had to disappear because either somebody called his work or somebody called the ethics line. And I mean, I can't blame him. I don't know about you, Dave, but it's just he had a baby on the way. And if his job was threatened or his profession was threatened, I could see him just disappearing. Now, of course, we pretty much know because that person has already admitted to calling the ethics line or calling the engineers line and basically reporting that Brian Mullen was making flat earth videos. And it was shortly after that he disappeared. And that is, of course, Nutcheck. What's his name? George Nuttenchuck or something. I don't know what his name is.
Nutsack.
Yeah, Nutsack. He was there at the Flat Earth conference, causing problems and being 4'2". So he's like 3 Rogans tall. It's pretty impressive.
3.
It's pretty impressive. What else did I see in the news today? I saw that, I don't know if people know this, but there's a CJ Beathard, is his name. He's a backup quarterback for the 49ers. His brother, Clayton, was stabbed to death December 21st. I don't know if people know that in Tennessee. I'm not sure the whole validity of that story seems legit or whatever, but I don't know. His brother, the quarterback for the Niners, was giving a eulogy at the funeral and mentioned that his brother was very into conspiracy theories and thought that the earth was flat. So we lost one of our good members. So it's not true that once you're flat, you don't go anywhere because this person obviously went somewhere. But yeah, he was a flat earther. I guess that was admitted in a, he was like, oh man, he was so into conspiracies and he thought the earth was flat. But here's the thing is his brother was actually the quarterback for Long Island University. So just interesting that even people in college, think the earth is flat. So it's not just me and Dave. There is others.
There are others.
There are others. And possibly this 7-Eleven cashier soon.
Hey, can we talk about helium?
No. Sure. I wish I had some helium to breathe in right now so I could say yes in a high-pitched voice. Go ahead.
I forbid that in at the conference. I said nobody is to do an interview on helium because that's going to end up on the press.
Right. Of course, that's what they pick out.
All right, so I'm assuming everyone has seen my DITRH video on a series on rockets being helium. And what's your feeling on this? Are the big rockets that we see launch from miles away helium?
Are the big rockets that are launched from miles away?
Like people that witness a large rocket being launched, but they're always seeing it from miles away. Are those blimps, in your opinion?
I think it's just like everything else. I think sometimes absolutely they are. I think if they can get away with launching something out into the water, then they necessarily don't need it to be helium, but maybe they do. The other thing is when some of those rockets land, I think sometimes those are definitely probably filled with helium to make it easier to bring them back. I think
a lot of those landings are completely CGI to start with, but I think that the vast majority, if not all, of the rockets that people are watching from miles and miles away are either helium or miniatures. I don't believe that a rocket much, much bigger than something like the Go Fast rocket can actually take off because of the fuel to size weight ratio issue. Because the bigger you get, the bigger of an engine you need. And so how there's a helium shortage. And how we always say NASA is the biggest user of helium on the Earth. Well, I don't know if that's true. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about mainstream, yes, that is the mainstream, belief.
Right. So the trolls have been going crazy trying to get me to debunk this video, and it's basically a video about how helium is being, mined or extracted, and who the top users are. The MRI industry uses a lot of helium, I think, and they basically list it, and NASA's not on this list. And I say, hogwash to all of that. I mean, if NASA needs helium, they could have like private companies that we've never heard of that are divisions of NASA, giving them, 1,000 times more helium than we think they're already using. I mean, why not, right? We don't have to know, we think that just because they're saying this is where all the helium's going, that doesn't mean that there's not, twice as many helium companies that we don't even know about. You agreed? Easy, right?
Agree.
Yeah. So saying that helium's only going to these places, that's a ridiculous argument. And then the other part of the argument is that these rockets actually use helium for part of their propulsion system. Not that they're burning helium, but there's helium. The official story on these rockets that there is helium being used. Okay, big deal. Whether that's real or not doesn't even matter. We're saying that the entire rocket propulsion thing is the lie, and they're launching blimps. They're launching blimps. So, it's so funny that that's their best argument. But why do you think that they're pushing a helium shortage? I believe that a helium shortage is as real as an oil shortage and global warming.
Okay. Why do I think that they're pushing it?
Yeah.
Well, isn't it a non-renewable kind of thing? Where are they? You said that you saw some video. Where are they getting helium from?
I think that there's other ways to get helium. I think they can extract it out of the upper atmosphere, but what do I know? Let's just speculate that there's a lot more helium in the earth that can be extracted, and there's no fear of it running out. Kind of like oil. Okay. We have our Zeppelin, our Hindenburg explosion, right? Because in the 1800s, there were large airships all across the earth. That's something they don't want to encourage. They don't want people, companies starting up airship programs, because if you have an airship, Jeran, what does that mean? For very cheap, you can go beyond where they want us to let us go. And if airships were a thing, they couldn't contain us, They couldn't stop us from going. I mean, they could, but it would raise too many questions. So I think that the helium shortage is to keep people from, the idea of making large airships, to cruise the world. And so I threw that out there, and the trolls, their answer is, why would somebody demand to go 30 miles an hour when they can go 550 miles per hour? Right. So my response was, why would somebody go on a cruise ship rather than an airplane? Right. And he goes, well, they go on cruise ships to party and get drunk. I'm like, so Jeran, would you be opposed to going on a cruise and, have a great time on a cruise and then end up in a tropical location? Not a bad idea, right?
Sounds fun.
Or for less money, would you like to go on a giant airship, party and have fun, and travel the world?
Will there be casinos on the airship?
Casinos.
Oh man.
Fun. And then you're going to get places even faster. And then when they land, you're going to be in all these different places of the world. I mean, and then the cost to operate a lighter than air ship versus a cruise ship. You know that the Queen Mary uses like a gallon of fuel every 3 feet?
Yeah, it's something ridiculous.
Yeah, it's something crazy like that, which, by the way, I don't even know if I believe that. But
they can't go very fast.
They can't go very fast.
20 miles probably.
And they do use a lot of fuel. I've never seen the specs on how much, how much fuel they're using, but it makes no sense to me. An airship uses very little power. It could probably propel itself on solar power.
Yeah, I would think so. They have some crafts that can do that already.
Yeah.
So I don't see any reason why, if you had solar panels on the outside, that it wouldn't charge up during the day and fly at night. Easy.
Yeah. So there's my idea on helium, that there is no shortage, and they don't want us having access to it, because airships will blow the cover of the globe.
Well, one of the simple things that you can make sure of that is that they would not be selling helium balloons to children if the stories were true that in 20 years we'd be out of helium. Because that's supposedly the report, right? That in 20 or 25 years that we'll be completely out of helium. There's no way that they would be selling it to people in balloons. I mean, they just wouldn't be doing it if it was that precious of a resource that we can't get back, and when the world's going to be out of it in 20 years, then I don't think they'd be selling it. It would be much more, kept under lock and key, which there is an underground facility, they say, in Texas, of course, of all places, speaking of NASA. Oh, Be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. This is Journalism Monday.
Everybody listen to this video on the app.
Discover the extraordinary powers of intuitive healing with pain transmutation, a method of holistic healing for the human soul, body, mind, and emotions. If you are looking for answers and a deep understanding of how to help yourself and the people around you to live a happier, healthier life, this is the right place for you. Learn how to read your soul's history in the Akashic Records. Remove negative energy attachments from your astral body, and start the process of inner and outer pain transmutation. Join Pain Transmutation Community to get started on the path of intuitive healing. Change your energetic state, manifest new and exciting experiences, re-energize your life, and build inspiring connections with others in our community.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If you have hard water, the Lime Scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate Lime Scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products, available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
More than a dozen astronauts have officially reported UFOs. Hundreds of hours of UFO footage were filmed by astronauts aboard the space shuttle. Many of these UFOs can only be seen in ultraviolet light. Retired former Apollo astronauts and cosmonauts now tell their stories of their own personal UFO encounters.
We have an unidentified flying object.
The Enigma Channel, intelligent television for planet Earth. EnigmaTV.com.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR, your protection from deception.
Welcome back. You're listening to Jeranism Monday Night Raw. It's David Weiss. It's Jaron from Jeranism. And joining us soon, might be, should be, will be, we hope, Jason Lindgren from Secrets of Saturn. So that'll be coming up. I believe that Glowbusters will be back this coming Sunday, January 5th, 2020. So definitely tune in for that. At that time, Dave, I will be 40 years old. Ugh, yuck. I don't know. I haven't cared about any birthdays in the past few years, or really, I don't know.
Actually, you're already 40 because you're supposed to count from the time you were conceived.
Oh, good. That makes me feel better. I'm already over the hill.
You're over 40 already.
Oh, good. I feel better.
My birthday moved from July to October. So I I believe that we'll probably be at the conference next year on my birthday.
So does that mean that I'm now a 70s baby? See, this whole time I thought I was an 80s baby, but you're right. If I have to go back, I'm probably April of 79 instead.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
It is cool. I've always thought that I was an 80s baby, but now 70s. Take that. Thank you for the super chats. Jay Savoy said, "Is it true that helium is only found in the USA?" I don't believe that's true, but I don't even know where they say they get it from rocks. So I don't know.
I think it comes from where they're mining natural gas. I think that there's more helium than we could ever conceive of, and it's all a myth that there's a shortage because airships are a problem for the globe.
Especially if you can do them solar powered, or you can just get up there and fly south. Yeah, you don't want to teach people they can do that.
Right. I mean, you just get into an air current and stay there. You don't even probably use no energy.
Yeah, probably not. Not when we know how fast some of those winds are going, no. And then we have On the Up, Josh Brown's Spiral Life. Check out that book if you haven't yet. And I am going to be doing an interview with Josh soon. He said, "Hey, gentlemen, good to finally catch you guys live again. It's been a few weeks. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Spiral Up." So definitely check out Josh Brown. You can find his book at thespiral.life. But check that out. And then I'll be doing an interview with him soon. I also got an interview with Lindsay from Rogue Ways coming up. Just all kinds of things going on, Dave. It never ends. Hey, I didn't tell you this, but
wait, real quick on helium.
Yes,
I'm getting messaged by our good friend Brian. For a long time, the U.S. has been the world's largest producer of helium, accounting for 40% of the world's supply. Number 2 is Algeria. Number 3 is Qatar. Helium is recovered in very small quantities from natural gas production. Only? Maybe that, I'm not sure if that only is part of the same sentence. But again, I don't buy any of it. I think that they have helium production that we're unaware of, and that's it. It's like diamonds. There's plenty.
Diamonds. Yeah, it's bullshit. Diamonds are a hoax, like many other things. What isn't a hoax, Dave, is, I got kicked out of a mall Saturday.
Were you flat smacking?
No. No, it's a kind of a dumb story. It's a long story, but I mean, here's the moral of the story. Never go to one of those kiosks in a mall and have them fix your phone. Okay. Because it was my wife's birthday. One thing that she wanted is she wanted some specific bras that she needed, and you can only get them from Victoria's Secret. There's not one near my house, so we had to drive up to Modesto, which is about an hour away, to get these bras. And as we're walking through the mall, there's one of those kiosks there that says, they'll fix your cracked screen. And I happened to think about it. I was like, "Oh, Missy, your screen is like destroyed. Her screen is like totally cracked." And I said, "Let's see if these guys will fix it." So I showed him. He looked at it. He said, "Yeah, I'll fix it. $140." I'm like, "No, I'm not doing that." And he's like, "Well, how much will you pay?" Anyway, we get down to a price we agree on. I hand him the phone. We said, "We'll be back in 15 minutes." We go into the bra store. We come out. He's kind of finishing up the phone, hands it back to my wife. As soon as he hands it to her, we noticed that in the upper right-hand corner where it says the percentage that you have battery left, it said 1%. And she just kind of pointed to me and said, "That's weird." I gave it to him and it had like 70% or something. That's weird. Like, I wonder how you could use so much battery power. Anyway, phone looked great, looked brand new. Went out to the car. She plugged it in to get some more charge, and we realized that it doesn't even know it's being charged anymore. Next thing you know, the phone turns off. Whole kinds of problems. We go back in there. And I guess I said that I got kicked out on Saturday. It was actually Sunday. Because Saturday we go in there. We're trying to talk to them. The guy's like, "Well, go home, see if this works. Plug it in, do this, try and get an update." Anyway, the phone will just not work. It's broken. So we go back there on Sunday morning, and that's when I got kicked out of the mall because I gave it to the guys, and they said, "No, we don't. We're not going to do anything. It's you brought the phone to us broken." I'm like, "No, what are you talking about? The phone worked great. You fixed the screen and broke it." Tried to show them proof of that. Tried to show them, look, she was able to send text messages to me the day before. Now the phone just doesn't work. You're going to cost us $700. So I asked for a refund for the price, and the guy says, "Give me the phone." And then he removes her screen and puts the broken screen back on it, and then gives me the refund for the change. And I said, "That's great. If that's what you're going to do, now that we have this broken phone, I'm going to sit here and take customers away from you." So I'm just standing at the kiosk. And people,
wow.
So people are walking up, and they're saying, like, "Hey, can you fix my phone?" And I said, "Hey, just letting you know, they broke my phone yesterday. They won't do anything about it. They're just telling us to leave." And the guy's like, "Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. I won't do it after all." Then those guys got pissed. They called security. Security came over, talked to me. I tried to explain what was going on. He says, "Well, if you're just going to stand here and take customers away, the cops are going to come." I said, "Send them." So he walked away. 5 minutes later, here comes the police, remove me from the mall. So that's a long story, but that was fun. Got kicked out of the mall on Sunday. So yeah, so now we have a broken phone. We had to go to the Apple store, which was outside there, and I don't want to even dare say how much it cost to get a replacement iPhone 8, which they looked at it and said, no, it's done. That there was pieces inside that were broken during the screen change, and it basically
wow.
So pretty upsetting. But that's why when you called me today and told me my phone doesn't work, I was like, wait, does this have anything to do with that? But I don't think it is. I think it's something different. So anyway, long story. I'm sure nobody cared, but it was fun to get removed from the mall. Anyway,
I love it. I love that you were camping out there. When something goes wrong like that with me, I will go out of my way, whatever it costs, doesn't matter, to let people know that they don't want to do business there.
Well, I forgot I don't know who the comedian is. There's a comedian who talks about those little kiosks, and he's like, who the hell shops at these kiosks? He says, I'm not going to buy anything from there. I don't know if they'll be there tomorrow. And it's like so true. We're like going back Sunday. I'm like, I don't even know if those guys will be there. They were there, but yeah. And then I asked the guy for his name. Like, can I get your name? He's the manager of the place. I'm like, can I get your name? He's like, Jose. He's like some Indian guy. I'm like, okay, can I get your last name? He's like, nope, that's all I'm giving you. I'm like, what kind of business are you running here? And he's like, well, what kind of manager would tell you their last name? I'm like, any of these stores, dude. Any of these stores. I can go into Victoria's Secret right now and ask for the store manager's name, and they'll give me his first name and last name because it's a legit business. I don't know what kind of operation you guys are running here, but what are you going to do? Just here's the moral of the story. Do not use those kiosks, because if they damage your phone, you've got nothing. And when we went to the Apple store, the guy told me what the price was for them to do what we did inside the mall, and it was like $20 more expensive. So it's like, son of a buck. I just would have been better off just going to the Apple store from the very beginning rather than think I'm doing something. So that's, that was fun because it's my wife's birthday, right? And it's like, all right, I'm going to be a nice guy and fix your broken phone. And then we walk out of there and her phone doesn't work. So happy birthday, Missa. But she's got a phone that works now, so that's good. Anyways, yeah, so fun happenings. What was that?
I don't know. Was that me? No,
I heard I heard my own voice. All right, what else do we have to talk about? You had something else you wanted me to bring up, and I don't remember now.
I call out to the guy about hovering rockets. Please reach out again, because I want to dig into what you're saying a little bit. We talked about cruises.
Jason's joined us. Jason, are you there?
Yes, I am. I think that's what you heard whenever I clicked on.
Oh, that's what it was. All right, good.
I just didn't want to interrupt you.
How dare David not tell you that you were supposed to be on the show tonight?
Yeah. Hey, yeah, no kidding. Sorry, guys. I made pizza for about 15 kids, so I was a little busy before the show, but all is well.
You made it from scratch?
So I make ultra thin pizzas. They're literally the thickness of a tortilla. They're world famous. They like my hot sauce. They're fantastic. They're gourmet pizzas, and they cook in about 4 minutes or less.
What do you use for the base? What do you use for the crust?
The crust. It's from this. So I discovered these at a restaurant, and I found out the company that makes these ultra thin pizza shells only sells to restaurants. So being the unicorn that I am, I set myself up as a fake sports bar company. And I just called them up. I'm like, hey, I'm thinking of opening a sports bar. It's called Connecticut Sports Bar, blah, 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 blah. Can I get a couple cases? And they're like, absolutely. Boom, I'm in the system. And that's it. I'm in the system. I've been doing it for years. So anytime I need these shells, they send me 100 shells. I pay for them.
Right.
But they only sell to restaurants. So,
well, that means you probably get a better price too, because it's more of a that's not retail. It's more like a
yeah, definitely. Thing, right? No, they're definitely cheap, and they're phenomenal. And then you eat these pizzas and you're not stuffed because it's ultra thin. It's literally like a crispy, the thickness of a tortilla.
Nice. Now I'm hungry. Where'd it go?
Anytime you come, I'll do it. Hey, now that we have Jason on, there's just a quick topic I want to talk about. You know how flat earthers talk about Operation Fishbowl?
Yeah.
Yep.
So Operation Fishbowl, for those of you that don't know, is when I believe it was just the U.S. Was trying to blow a hole in the dome. Was it in the 1950s, Jason?
50s or 60s? Yeah. Let me take a quick look. I forget exactly what year.
So there's some videos of it, some photos. And the official story is that we were sending
62.
62, just when I was conceived, and and that we're trying to blow holes in the firmament with nukes. And the argument is, how crazy is the government to blow nukes up in space? So as we all are pretty darn sure, nukes don't exist. Would you say you're pretty darn sure or more than that?
Well, to be fair, I know Crow is quite convinced they don't exist. I've wondered. I don't think they work as described because they were never used where it would make sense to use them in things post World War II, and this is what I've always thought. Like, why would you just throw people away on things like the Korean venture, the Vietnam, and then plus all the other crap that's gone on in between? Like, those are just the major ones. So, yeah, I've always wondered. I had my doubts that they work.
The way we're told, at least.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it could just be large bombs, right?
Yeah,
so it could be launching large bombs.
Well, especially early on. Maybe the technology wasn't there in 1945, and it was just massive amounts of conventional, what do you call it, explosives. But there's a more specific name for it that I'm blanking on.
Right, I wasn't there. It looks like they from the research that I've seen is that they did perhaps try to blow a hole in the firmament, but just not with nukes. Because, if I had gun to my head right now, nukes don't exist, period. That's it. So I just hear a lot of people reporting about nukes being, trying to blow a hole in the firmament. Maybe they did. It wasn't nukes. Just a little thing that I'm pointing out there. So Operation Fishbowl isn't quite what they said. Just take the nukes out of it, and it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. There's no reason they couldn't use large amounts of conventional explosives because they get more deadly the more you compact things down. Like, this is just general physics kind of stuff. You can compact stuff down and it's massively deadly. So and people don't realize this. They say, well, I saw the mushroom cloud and all that. It's like, you'd get a mushroom cloud with a sufficient conventional explosion. Like, that's nothing special or unique to atomic weapons. It just happens to be the fact that atomic weapons are said to be X amount of explosive enough to create that, because all that is just the way it's whooshing up through the air. So,
Jason, what would be a better way to get a large conventional explosion up to the dome, with a rocket or a balloon?
Okay, balloons have a certain problem in the fact that you can only get up to about, now this is with all the tests I've looked up, to about 120,000 feet. Now, hypothetically, if there is a firmament, like a hard fast barrier kind of thing, it's probably higher than that.
121.
Or if you're NASA, you just say you launch balloons up and then blow them up once they're out in space, and you can have a balloon that's 1,000 miles above. NASA story.
I would think if there's a hard fast barrier, it's more than 120,000 feet, just because barometric equipment gets set up by amateur people all the time. And if they were clunking into a barrier or there was something up there, I think it would have gotten noticed enough by amateurs. But if it's way up more towards where they claim the Kármán line is, and what's funny about the Kármán line is that they don't have an exact height for it. It kind of is like, well, it's between this and like 60 to 70-ish miles up, that kind of thing, which just so happens to be that's further than anyone who's not SpaceX or NASA or the European Space Union or anybody like that can get up to. So funny like that,
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Question for both of you. When you have free time over the weekend, if you have free time, Jason, you guys are always heavily researched into your shows, and they are for Crow 777. Those are greatly appreciated. When you run out of flat Earth content, new flat Earth content, what do you do, Jeran? If you're looking for something to watch, what do you watch? What do you do?
I don't know the answer to this question. I don't think there's ever running out of flat Earth content. But I mean,
well, sometimes there's like a little lull for a couple hours, whatever it is. It's like, all right, I need something new, and so I had nothing, and I was like, okay, let me just see what's in the YouTube feed. Oh, look at this live show, and I started listening to the Jose Gonzalez show. Made a comment, and he stops the show. He's like, come on the show. We want to talk to you. We have questions, and I'm like, okay, I've got a little time. And I went on the show. Do you know the show? Jason, you probably don't know the show.
What was the name of it again?
Jose Gonzalez. It's a lot like Nathan Oakley's show. He's a really nice guy. He won't say the Earth is flat, won't say, I don't think he says globe or flat. He kind of just tries to stay in the middle, which is crazy. But I went on, and it's filled with all of the big time trolls. I mean, just coming at me, I'm a liar and this and that. So the more people jumped on the panel when I was on, these total, I don't even remember their names, but this one guy's talking about the first photo from space. You know the first photo that they took from orbit?
V2 rocket.
Yeah, the V2. And I go, it had a straight edge. And he's like, you're a liar. You're a liar. And I'm like, I show them the photo, and he goes, that's a cropped photo, and they're just going on and on and on. And then the host calls him out and says, show us the uncropped photo. And literally he had a series of those pictures that were just literally stitched together, each one bending. Those. You've seen that, bending a little more and more. And it just went nowhere. So it was crazy. I was on there for a couple of things. Then they're coming at me about the helium, and these guys are all over me about the helium that we talked about. It was exhausting. And then I told them when I got on, I said I only could stay for X amount of time, and then I stayed for longer than that. And I said I have to leave in 10 minutes, right? And then when I left, of course, I left because I didn't want to answer the questions.
Of course, that's what they're going to say.
So I'm actually looking at this right now, and it definitely is stitched together. But I want to see what the height is supposed to be for this, because I'm wondering if in the mid-40s here, what exactly they're claiming that the V2 rocket's height could actually get to, because those things were wonky. They weren't exactly... I mean, that's why London and the UK even still exists at all, is because their targeting was kind of atrocious. So...
And that picture, they always show a picture of the Earth's horizon at a diagonal because it looks like a pie wedge that way. It looks like, because you assume a circle when it's a diagonal. If it went across the frame, your brain would see it as flat.
I still don't get that argument. I mean, I still feel like everything we see is in a circle. It's just the way it works. That if you look forward, the furthest you can see is straight ahead of you, and then the edges, the sides of your vision.
Oh, absolutely. But when you're looking in a framed shot where you don't have 180 degrees of vision, a framed shot, if you put it at an angle, your brain will see a curve.
They do that with every photo.
It says 65 miles.
How far?
And it says 65 miles. So there's the one I'm looking at now, I'm trying to find as many photos as I can. I know there's one where it's kind of, and this is what's interesting, there's one where it's further back and kind of stitched together, like it's several 4x3 frames stitched together. Mm-hmm. Not very clear, of course, but I really wouldn't have expected it to be. Yeah. And what's interesting is that the quality of this, if you're looking at like the background and all that, is far more like what I would expect something being launched up high to be with film technology, not digital, of course, but film technology, because film is just chemicals, right? It's chemicals being used to make all this stuff, and they get damaged very easily. This makes a lot more sense to me than a lot of the nonsense they show us later. It's like, oh yeah, we went to the moon and everything is perfectly flawless, like it was shot on perfect 35 millimeter film, like it's going to be shown in the movie theaters like 2001: A Space Odyssey. So yeah, the fact that this looks a little rough makes a lot more sense to me than anything else. But 65 miles line, that's within about what they say the Kármán line is. Like I said, 60 to 70 some odd miles.
Yeah, I also don't think a curved horizon doesn't equal sphere.
Correct.
There's so many other things that go into it. Bratwurst Bear Rhino said, glad Jason is in the mix, loving his Mystery Babylon podcast episodes. What a great crew tonight. Awesome. Thank you for that, Rhino.
Thanks.
And Joseph Paul says, this is my wholesale payment for listening tonight. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that, Joseph Paul. So you're doing an awesome little series, and I see you're up to episode 4 or 5 now?
Yeah, we started doing live streams. Wayne and I have been wanting to do more content. And it's not Mystery Babylon. Last week we did Mystery Babylon because I thought that was really important to get across. If people aren't aware, if you want like a master's degree on the elite and their religion and all the symbolism and crap, those 40-odd episodes that Bill Cooper did in 93 and 94 are priceless. And Wayne and I have both done some homework on fact-checking it, and because Bill Cooper took a lot of that from books. I can't recommend enough. I must have gone through that whole series like 5 or 6 times over the past however many years, 15 years maybe, I've been looking at all this stuff. And we thought, well, let's do a breakdown on it because I'm always mentioning it. And it's one of those things that Crow doesn't give a hoot about and won't ever touch.
Right.
So that's kind of why I'm doing it. It's things like, well, Wayne and I think of things that we want to talk about that Crow might not be interested in, but we still want to get stuff out. And it's so much easier, as you guys know, when you're doing the live stream format, where it's like, well, it's going to be burps and hiccups, whatever. I'm not going to cut it all up, but we'll do video, so it's a little more interesting than just listening to audio. So that's how those came about.
Cool. Hey, just back to Jose's panel just for one more second. So we talked about they started coming at me about. I actually told them, ask me your toughest questions because that's what I love. And I was just they had nothing, but they're like, you recently said that rockets are balloons. What's your best proof? And don't show me a video. Right?
That's
like, I'm like, what? And so. My best proof, I think, is the photo that Eero gave us from NASA. It's a photo. You could say, well, photos are doctored. No, a photo from NASA of the top down of the space shuttle that looks like a balloon blow-up toy with a dent in the nose. Don't you think that is like, how would a Glober explain that? I asked Baller Dave, and he couldn't even give me an answer.
I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah, I didn't ask him. He's an asshole.
An ass. He wrecked my 5-hour live stream on Friday.
Yeah, I had to tune out, by the way.
You couldn't listen to it anymore?
I couldn't listen. I was like, oh my God, you have that schmo on.
I should have cut him off way earlier.
Yeah, you were pretty disgusted.
Yeah. Well, it's just so easy. God, what an easy job that must be to just be a globe proponent. You've got science on your side, and who can question science?
Jason's Googling right now, Baller Dave. Who the hell's Baller Dave?
Well, you know what I actually was doing to kind of finish up with that V2 thing? I just took a piece of paper onto the main photo they show, and there is a curve. I'm obviously not going to be able to say there isn't, but I've heard astronauts say that you can't see the curve of the Earth until you're, I forget the exact number, but like 100 and something up. So again, we're seeing inconsistencies with what they're reporting. So
yeah, Joe Engel said he couldn't see it, and he was 60 or 70 miles up, and said he couldn't see it, of course, until he got into the space shuttle, is what he said. But it's just
this is always the problem, guys. It's always the inconsistency thing.
Right, that's the problem. I mean, that's the big problem with stars in space. I mean, that's, if there wasn't for the inconsistencies, at least if you had a one story, and now they can't even talk about it anymore because there's been so much nonsense from Neil Armstrong saying you can't see any stars in cislunar space, and then you've got some guys saying, oh, you can see it on the night side, but you can't see it on the day side because the starlight washes it out, or the sunlight washes it out, which is completely untrue because there's no atmosphere. If you're up in space, you wouldn't have sunlight washing out stars. So it's just they can't get their story straight.
So what do you do when you're talking to somebody about flat Earth that believes in the moon landings? I mean, do you just not have the conversation? Because anybody that believes in the moon landing is either lazy or stupid. Is there another possibility?
Oh boy. Well, here's the thing. Those two things don't have to go hand in hand, because long before I looked at anything else, the first one I came across was like, hey, NASA's full of it. They're showing us a bunch of horse pucky. Before I came to any other conclusions or even started looking at other stuff, just because, again, as the word I always like to use, inconsistencies. And the moon landing has the worst of them all, really.
Right.
Oh, it's the worst.
Hey, we're going to go to break in a second. Just anyone that hasn't, we're going to talk about the Zach's video when we come back. Jeran, did you watch it?
What?
Jeran, did you watch Zach's video about the incoherent magnetism?
No, you mean since we talked about it in the first half of the show?
Yes. So we're going into a break. Everybody, it's on the app. Watch it at double speed, and you'll be done before the break's over.
Okay, and we'll be off of YouTube, so you have to follow the links that are in the chat. I'm sure Karen B or somebody might be simulcasting it. If not, just follow us to dlive.tv/Jeranism. I'll be over there. Or, obviously, tfrlive.com. Just click Listen Now, and the show will be there, as it is each and every Monday. So it's very easy for you to find us.
If you don't have the app, it's on Good Times for All channel. It's on Globusters channel. It's the newest video from today, and it's on the app right now. If you don't have the app, sorry, beat it.
Guys, get the app. The app is fantastic. I mean, seriously, I'm not just trying to plug it because David's my friend. The app is fantastic. He's put so much effort into that. I'm very impressed, and I tell people that all the time.
Yeah, I totally agree. Get the app. Yeah, so anyway, we'll see you on the other side, guys. Don't go anywhere. Go watch the video.
Truth Frequency Radio is your #1 source for news and information without the hate, hype, and fear. We're proud to feature cutting-edge programs like Beyond the Veil with Chris and Cherie Geo, X Squared with Brooks Agnew, Paranormal Portal with Brent Thomas, Jeranism Raw with Jeran and Missa, Fearless with Frank Castle, Strange World with Mark Sargent, The Eye of Ra with Ra Castaldo, The Infinite Fringe with Billy Ray, Ironworks with Josh Corey, The Kev Baker Show, and dozens more. Did you know you can listen from any telephone by dialing 641-793-7117 or call into your favorite show toll free at 833-TFR Live. Uncensored talk and news you won't hear in the mainstream media. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
Hanukkah stabbing, Texas church shooting. I'm Ann Cates. Hate crime charges have been lodged against the man accused of stabbing 5 people during a Hanukkah celebration north of New York City.
The court papers filed by federal prosecutors said that Grafton Thomas kept journals filled with anti-Semitic writing. The complaint said that the 38-year-old used a cell phone to search for, quote, Zionist temples, end quote. He allegedly used his cell phone to search for news stories about where police were protecting Jews and their institutions. The feds claim that Thomas filled several pages in a journal with statements showing an affinity for the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, which has nothing to do with mainstream Judaism. His family said he had a history of mental illness and had been treated in the past. Steve Kastenbaum, New York.
More is being learned about the suspect who opened fire in a Fort Worth area church, killing 2 before he was shot to death by a parishioner. Correspondent Lucy Kavanaugh.
The identity of the gunman, Keith Thomas Communin. His identity was confirmed by a federal law enforcement official, as well as his sister, Amy Communin. Now, she said Keith and another one of their siblings, a younger brother, had been living on the street for a, quote, long time. She said the sibling took his life in 2009, and yesterday was that sibling's birthday.
The U.S. population expanded by about 0.5% from mid-2018 through the first 6 months of this year, the slowest rate since World War I. Correspondent John Stolas reports some states saw a drop in population growth.
4 states had a natural decrease, meaning deaths outnumbered births: West Virginia, Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. Puerto Rico, dealing with Hurricane Maria and economic stagnation, had their first population increase this decade. 10 states had population declines, with New York losing the most, 77,000 people.
On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 183 points, the Nasdaq off 61. I'm Ann Cates.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
The wicked ones obviously under heavy Masonic influence.
On the weekday, don't be surprised, don't be surprised. Walk like us. They even talk like us. Walk like us. But they are not like us. On the weekday, you can see the signs, you can see the signs. They wear the disguise. Look into the mind's eye. There's nowhere to hide. Don't stick all the lies. Whispers from afar.
All right, welcome back. You're listening to Jeran Monday Night Raw. We're here on D Live. We're here on TFRlive.com. We'll also be taking your phone calls, so if you want to get in line, you can do that now. The phone number is on the screen, or for those listening on the radio, 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998. During the break, Dave, I watched the video, Is Gravity Incoherent Magnetism? And it's pretty strong evidence, my friend.
Yeah, I love it, and I'm looking forward to Zach and Bob and the team over there for their next part. They got more to come, they say.
I think it's quite interesting. I think, Jason, I know you didn't hear the first part of the show, but do you kind of understand what Dave's talking about with this incoherent magnetism?
Yes, I very much do, because I heavily lean towards electromagnetism as being the strongest force in our whatever the universe actually is.
So that would put you on Team Bob and Team David.
Yes, it would.
Awesome.
I think the concepts that theoretical physics throw out, things like gravity waves and things like that, I think these are just them making up things to name variables because they can't make their equations work. And I think the biggest BS one is dark matter. Well, we can't figure this out, and we have this giant variable that can't make things work. So we're just going to make something up and say, well, there it is. We found it, even though there's no evidence for that.
Yeah, or never been observed. Right.
The gravity waves that they said they detected, they actually found out that it wasn't a gravity wave, that a gnat actually farted on Jupiter, and they picked up that and that's why the signal was so strong.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God they built that LIGO and everything, and the CERN. Thank you for all that. What is CERN?
You want me to tell you guys a flat Earth secret?
You have one?
Yeah, I do. So you know how we say that there's there's government-controlled ball Earth supporters out there. There's teams of shills protecting the globe.
Okay.
There's I'm going to let you in on 2 channels that a secret flat Earth group has put out there to corral all of the trolls. And that's the Jose Gonzalez channel and the Nathan Oakley channel. These guys are paid by the Flat Earth Society group, not the Flat Earth Society. And they corral all of the trolls on their channel, and they leave us alone.
Well, thank you very much to Jose and Nathan.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, because if it wasn't for those channels, what would those guys do other than be trolling my channel, your channel, and Taboo and Glowbusters and the rest of us? They keep them over there busy for 15 hours a day. It's fantastic.
That's fantastic. As long as they're not on my channel, I'm happy with that.
Yeah. So God bless Nathan Oakley and Jose Gonzalez.
Dave, did you see that medical examiner Mr. Carver passed away?
I heard that just yesterday on Jason and Crow's show. I had no idea.
And Jason did a little bit of research on that today, didn't you, Jason?
Yes, I did. Now, I haven't checked tonight just to see if they've updated it, but there's something important that folks should be aware of if they're not, and that's called the SSDI. Now, this is for the United States, of course, but other Western nations have them as well. But for us here in the United States, we have something called the SSDI, and that is the Social Security Death Index. So the quick version of this, just so I don't take up a whole bunch of time, is that this is where Social Security numbers get retired. And if anybody's done any work on how real law works and the straw man identity and all that, without even getting into the stuff that could or could not possibly be hokey and all that, that's like linked to all the accounts and everything that do exist, that have been proven to exist. Your birth certificate number and your Social Security number, those are real things. And it has been proven that those are bank account numbers. So when you pass away, and if you were part of the system, that number gets actually recycled. It gets retired from your corporate identity name. So this would be H. Wayne Carver II would be retired from that so that it can be recycled and used for someone else. As of right now, as far as I know, his name was not on there. There was another person that I saw an article floating around about a dude who got named a Jedi Master by Disney for stopping an active shooter. Apparently, this was a recent thing. His name wasn't on there. I checked, and you can get very specific on the SSDI, and I do. I check. I do a wide search, and then I start narrowing it down and try different variations just to make sure I'm not making a mistake. And then I went back to do something I haven't done in a few years since Crow and I did the space fraud series, in fact, and I checked for Krista McAuliffe. Sharon Krista McAuliffe is her full name, and she's not on there. As far as I know, according to mainstream history, this was just a normal, average American teacher who was part of the shuttle program and who perished during the Challenger incident. Okay, everybody knows that. Why is she not on there? She obviously was an American. She would be part of the system if she went through God knows what you have to go through, clearance and all that kind of nonsense to be part of NASA. And you're trying to tell me that she's not part of the legal system? Come on, guys. Something's up here.
So, as I said, Jason and I were talking about this yesterday. My question is, why, if the elite are doing these things, why can't they just, instead of even fake a death certificate, give them a real death certificate? Whoever makes the death certificates, make one for this person. Without having to forge, to make it a forgery. Is it because they can't lie for some reason? What is the reason that they can't just make a real death certificate and they just can't put them on the SSDI? Why can't they just do that?
It's a good question.
It's a very good question that we don't have an answer to. So David and I kind of came up with two things. One, these people aren't really dead, so they're not retiring the numbers because somewhere in the system it's still being used. Or two, there might be some more of this weird karmic stuff that the elite seem to adhere to. And if you did understand a lot of what they use with the sympathetic magic, the whole Mystery of Babylon religion, all that, they kind of sort of tell us what's going on without being blunt about it. But this is all that hidden in plain sight stuff, but a lot of times you don't realize it till after the fact, all that kind of thing. So we don't have an answer to that. But the logical thing here to me was if I was trying to, let's take the Challenger thing. If I was trying to fake that 7 people are going to die in a massive explosion in a ritual that gazillions of people are going to see. That's what happened that day. They plugged it for however long. I forget.
They wheeled TVs into all the classrooms.
Yeah, like massive. So the children and the teachers, of course, were being socially engineered because, the first teacher in space. This is a regular person who won the competition or whatever it was to be on board this. So they had this individual, this Sharon Krista McAuliffe, who went in public by Krista McAuliffe. If indeed this is a real person, then she should be part of the system. And if she did indeed die, her number should be retired and recycled. If they created this Sharon Krista McAuliffe, why wouldn't they just create a straw man identity? And the thing I said to David yesterday when I called him, I was like, so you'd think that kind of like the witness protection program, like if someone sees a horrendous murder that there's a whole bunch of stuff involved with, that their life would be in danger for the rest of their existence, they move them somewhere, they get them set up, but they don't give that person zillions of dollars to live off of. They have to go and live a real life under whatever John Doe or Jane Doe they gave them, right? So they set them up in the system with new names, new identities, and all that. So the whole thing's a little confusing. It's like, so why don't they just do that if they're going to create these people? Kind of like all these children that died at Sandy Hook that didn't die, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
How dare you?
Said that.
Sorry, Greta.
Let's try a quick phone call just because I see that it's from Germany, which I love taking calls from Germany. Well, maybe
Good
it's the
beer.
first done that. You're on with Jeran DITRH Monday Night Raw. What's up from Germany?
Yeah, hello guys. Can you hear me?
Can hear you. Great.
Okay, good. I'm actually in Mexico, so I have no time gap. Usually I listen your radio show every Monday, a bit later because we have a time shift of 7 hours, I think. I just want to say thank you. You do a great job. I love to listen your show, even on Sunday with Globebusters.
Thank you.
Because we don't have anything like that in Germany. We have a few guys who publish every few days really bad quality videos, stupid quality videos. They are flat earthers, but not really smart. I believe for us in Germany, is it very difficult to go publish with the flat earth because you get problems in work or
Oh no, it's
family.
same everywhere.
Same for me. So yeah, so I'm a bit disappointed because of that. So we don't have our own community, and I don't believe that this could evolve in the next few months or next 1-2 years. It's just because it is a difficult topic. I'm a flat earther since I don't like the sentence I'm a flat earther, but I truly
I love that sentence.
David's sentence.
Yeah, it's like a stigma, Once
Not anymore.
Say this. Okay. I don't talk to anyone in Germany. I had 2 friends. I explained the whole topic to them, and they are on board. Both are PhDs, so smart guys.
Nice.
But nobody else. So I just want to say I don't know what to talk. I'm a bit excited right now. I just want to say, cool guys, that you are doing this, and you are really smart, and I like to listen to you. So don't stop it.
All right. Well, thanks so much. Really appreciate that call. Thanks so much.
Thanks, man.
Well, that's very nice.
That was excited. I would.
But I think that that's kind of the situation everywhere. It's not the easiest topic to talk about unless you're Dave Weiss.
You know what? It's getting easier for everybody. Just let's stop saying that it's a hard topic to talk about and just say it's an easy topic to talk about, and it will become that. It's already become that.
Yeah, we were going to do some predictions. I know we mentioned that, but I didn't come up with any good predicting questions. Unless either of you guys have a prediction you want to make for 2020. Anything, I don't know.
Half of us will be dead by the end of the year.
Yikes!
Half of the 3 of us?
Well, half of everybody.
Oh,
no, I'm just kidding. More like 3/4, but never mind.
I'll tell you the one thing I definitely think is that the censorship is going to increase massively, not just with Flat Earth, but everything. If you mention false flags or any of that stuff, you can see all that ramping up now. I don't think that's a very hard thing to really imagine, but I definitely predict that they're going to stomp us down as hard as they can, and that's why it's important to have other platforms to use, and we just need to keep pushing and pushing and pushing to keep ourselves afloat.
Did you guys see Truth Stream Media's latest video, What's Your Social Credit Score?
Well, I'm very well aware of that system. Crow and I have touched on that in the AI episode we did a couple months ago. I generally like what TrueStream Media does, though. I don't know them that well, and I've never spoken to them. But
yeah, they did a 38-minute presentation on the social credit score in China and what's coming to America, and it is horrifying.
It is. And it's already in one town in Australia, too. Did they mention that?
You know what? They might have. I was multitasking, but it was horrifying. Just what they're doing, what they can do. You know the scene in Minority Report where he's walking into the mall and the billboard recognizes him and the camera? I mean, it's beyond that. It's beyond that already.
No, it just snuck up real quickly.
Yeah.
Well, I know a bit about it. I mean, if you guys want me to break it down for a minute, I'd be happy to. Like, this is not science fiction crap. This is what's going on now. And this doesn't even need supercomputers. This is just the stuff that China's already got the infrastructure set up for. And it's all tied into the Internet of Things and all these things that they're doing.
5G, of course.
Well, the 5G is going to help them to transfer the one thing I absolutely think they're pushing for the 5G is so that when they get the full Internet of Things, and if people don't know what that is, that's like every little thing. That's your toaster talking to your dryer, talking to your fridge, talking to your computers, talking to your phones. They're all going to communicate with each other and be constantly reporting on every little bit of data. You know, every time you take a leak, they're going to put that back. And that 5G network, I think, is to make sure that there's a wide enough bandwidth available so that they can shunt all that data in real time 24/7. Like, it's never going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how I think they're going to put this digital noose around us. But China's already doing it, and while they may not have perpetual data streams going for everything everywhere yet, they've got enough going on that they're already completely. Their society is just mangled. They've got these people so beaten down that I'm sure there's people who are ticked off about it, but the vast majority of them just don't do anything about it. and they've got them completely under control. So they did stuff as crazy as smile for the camera and we'll pay some of your bills. And the reason was the computers were having trouble telling the differences, the minute differences between Asian faces, because they are very similar. You know, the hair, the eyes, all that are very similar, and they were looking for details. And what they figured out was when you smile, that's when all of the major differences that a computer could read, face scan, show up. So they got tons of people doing this to help finish the AI programming so that as you are walking down the street, they can easily pick out who you are. And every tiny little thing you do that you step out of line, you lose your social credit score. They're this complete BS rating they've got. And if your rating goes low enough, then you might pay more for train tickets, airline tickets, loans have high percentage rates. And if it gets really low enough, they're going to start refusing things to you. So you can't even live a normal life. You're basically put in shame. So there you have it. That's what they want to do.
They talk about if you have a low score, that changes your ringtone to like an alarm sounding ringtone. So when people call you, it alerts them that you have a low credit score.
Oh, they humiliate you. Yeah. If you jaywalk, they'll put your face up on the digital billboards.
Yeah.
That you just got a ticket and all that. So it's all about shaming and humiliation and all that stuff. I mean, that's crazy, man. Like, I can't believe these people don't rise up and say, screw this.
That's insane. Do you think it just went too far and now they don't have the ability to do that? I mean, is that basically what's coming?
It's kind of like the North Korea thing too. It's like, how do these people not rise up? I mean, yes, people would die, but let's be serious here. If an entire population or a chunk of it decided to go against a government anywhere, there's not enough people to stop that.
Right, but the selfishness of people saying, "Oh my God, I have an advantage because I'm good," and they just they stay in line. I mean, I could see so many people going for it because my credit score is high. You start off with a high credit score, you're not going to throw it away for a conspiracy theory or it's scary stuff. Changing the topic, did you guys see the new piece on Titans by our friend Mike on whoa.
Still
I got music playing on my ear. Something happened.
What music?
I can't hear anything. Hold on.
That's weird. Okay.
Well, I know where Dave is going. Somebody sent it to me this morning, but I haven't had a chance to watch it yet because it was
my computer is going nuts.
David, you want to exit out and restart?
I'm back. No. Did you guys hear that?
No. I couldn't hear anything, just your voice, unfortunately.
Well, that's all that matters.
No, go ahead. So what happened with the...
So, the series by Stellium 7 on Titans? Mm-hmm. He just put out a new video today that was just another home run, in my opinion. So for those of you that have not taken the effort to go down this ridiculous rabbit hole, it's a playlist on my channel, DITRH, called something Titans, Discovering Titans, or whatever it's called. Can't miss it. Just listen to the videos in order, and again, the world is not what we think it is.
Let's go to the phones. 530. You've been on the hold. I'm sorry, 503. You've been on hold the longest. You're on with Jeran Monday Raw. Who's this?
Hello. Is this Tim? Am I on?
Yep.
Okay. All right. This is Tim Moles. I met you guys Thursday night in Dallas. Talked about flying down South America in a twin-engine airplane. And
okay.
Anyway, what I would like to do, I'm retired military. I was an Army tank recovery track commander, Desert Storm, and then I was a Navy deep sea diver for 10 years, salvage. And
I got a question for you when we're done then.
Right on. And so what I want to objective I want to achieve with the airplane is to fly up here in North America and fly lat and long grid to space and timing and have it all figured out exactly how long, and then go to the equator down South America somewhere and fly the same type of course from longitude to longitude at a latitude, and then go down to South America at the same latitude that I was in North America and fly that same grid and see if it's longer, shorter, or the same.
how are you going to determine distance, though? Based on the GPS?
GPS is one, but no, I'm not into computers. I'm into steam gauges. Using dead reckoning, you plan out your flight, you lay out your map, and you have bridges and lakes and things along the way, and you measure that with the scale ruler. You determine the nautical miles, and you know your performance of your aircraft. You can determine exactly when you'll be over each spot right to the second, pretty much, or at least within the minute. And so you do dead reckoning, satellite stuff, and a couple of other things I'm looking at doing. But that's basically with the airplane. You're proving yourself all along the way. As you're flying, you're looking out the window, looking down, and running your watches. And just like diving, running watches. It's all about time and distance. But anyway, I just like to get involved and do something like that with you guys. I have a lot of respect for you, for each and every one of you guys. I watch and listen to you guys. And as a military guy, you guys are pretty spot on. The only one thing is jet airplanes burn fuel. There's no free lunch.
Wait, hold on a second. Do jumbo jet airplanes? I know that private airplanes do.
No, you have to have fuel to get up there, and the oxygen, pure O2, won't be enough because as the higher you go, the molecules spread out. You lose energy in the air. That's the reason the airplanes can go so fast at altitude. And when they're up there, they're breathing really efficiently, so they only need a little juice to keep it going. But when they're down by sea level altitude or down here, down around the Earth, they're really consume the fuel. I mean, they really burn through it.
And
so they want to get to altitude as quick as. What's that?
Where are the fuel tanks on jumbo airliners?
In the wings, in the center of the fuselage. They trade off for cargo compartment versus fuel tanks. It's all a balancing act. But you definitely got to have fuel to get there.
Well, I don't think any of us claim that there is no jet fuel being used at all. It's just the amount that they say that people have an issue with, which, I mean, I could see where you're saying they hold those tanks, but, sometimes when you picture, how much is in a Shell oil tanker that you see, or a gas truck.
Right.
And when you multiply that out and you see that the plane needs to carry 20 of those or whatever it is, I just don't see a place where they can put it all. Now, I agree with you. That's
the
Airbus
380 is an anomaly because it's a monster, and everything, all the numbers are big on that plane. None of that 380 makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But anybody else that's down in the weeds, running and working every day, flying corporate or whatever out there, the commercial ticket, you're paying a fuel bill. I mean, we wish we didn't have to, but there is but I also say that they're chemtrailing, and they haven't been as much lately, I can tell, but you can tell the difference between contrails and chemtrails. When they're at 45 or when they're at 90-degree angles, that's chemtrails, because contrails will break up and in one direction.
And quickly, from what I understand.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, Jason, you had a question for the caller, you said?
Yes, I do. I don't know if you would know this or not, but you mentioned about tanks, and I was wondering how far do tank weapons fire, and if sufficient distance, does the Coriolis effect have to be taken into account by the gunneries?
Right. So in Desert Storm, my main job was out by Log Base Charlie, furthest out the 18th Airborne Corps, out furthest, did the end around part. And my main job out there was cleaning up friendly fire, where M1s were shooting up Bradleys. The Bradleys got out in front, and military intelligence, they got to have their sacrifices, right? So they run them out there, and then they light them up with the M1s. And with a Sable round, you're traveling almost 5,000 feet per second-ish. There's no explosive in the round, and at a mile out, it can put with the wind sensor on top and the laser reticles at the end of the barrel and the beginning of the barrel, and then it checks for warpage, and the M1 calibrates for all of that, and basically put a 10-inch dart of depleted uranium in your forehead at a mile out. And no, there is no curve. There's there's a little windage, but all that gets calculated by the computer. But the computer doesn't factor or calculate curvature. Howitzers, the artillery guys, they don't factor Coriolis effect. The only thing they taught me in Coriolis effect was in flight school, and is it controls the weather. The sun heats up the atmosphere, and that's what generates weather. And that was about the extent of Coriolis effect in flight school. I went to college for.
Interesting.
So I got A4 time. The fighters that were the instructors were in Top Gun shooting out, and the little guy, I got time flying those down in Puerto Rico. I spent 5 years in the Caribbean flying, so I know the area and kind of got an idea about what I want to cook off down there.
You have an email address where you can?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead, shoot, quick.
Yeah, I do. It's Time Moles, TIMEMOLES @gmail.com.
Okay, got it. Thank you. I'll be right back.
Right.
As if we're really just born to die. I'd rather not been born. Stay in school, they said. Use your tools, they said. But being on TV looks pretty.
Extendivite, a 7-herb combination made from garlic, cayenne, hawthorn, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, valerian, and milk thistle. Extendivite feeds our body with the right nutrients to keep us healthy. Just listen to what Arthur has to say.
I was just calling to tell you what a great product you have. I had used this about, 10 years ago after I had congestive heart failure. And it fixed me up and got me going for the last 10 years. Lately, I've been having heart trouble again, so I placed another order because this was the only thing that ever worked. And I just wanted to let you know that you have a great product.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
Jacob Frank Leibovich is the mastermind behind a global network of satanic cults. He taught that the creator God was evil. Jacob Frank proclaimed himself as the true Messiah. He vowed never to tell the truth. He rejected every moral law and declared that the only way to a new society was through the total destruction of civilization. Murder, rape, incest, and the drinking of blood were perfectly acceptable actions and rituals. His followers established the Marxist system and have infiltrated Islam and Judaism. He was the Messiah of the Illuminati.
EnigmaTV.com.
Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, make it TFR. The Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, welcome back to Jeran DITRH Monday Night Raw. Thank you guys for joining us. We've got Jason Lindgren from Secrets of Saturn, and of course, Crow 777 Radio on with us. We've got Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, David Weiss, and myself. Dave, let me ask you this, because maybe I'm the only one who thinks this, but when we heard you on Anthony Cumia's show, and he was talking with his buddies after that, did you hear him give his $1 million challenge?
Yes.
Right. So is that something you think that can even be calculated? I mean, maybe I'm alone in this one, but I don't see how you could ever calculate the distance that a boat was actually going if, number one, the ocean is moving, right? We know that there's ocean currents. So do you think it's possible for us to calculate that and actually do some sort of test as far as that goes?
I don't know how you would do it.
Yeah, I don't know either. And that's what's so sad when these guys give these challenges and you're looking at it like it's a logistical nightmare.
His challenge was all over the place, too. He first said, have a flat earther prove to me that circumference is smaller, than, is the same size as the northern route, as going around the same latitude in the north. I'm like, no one believes that. I told him to save his bet. No one believes that. And then he changed it and said it the other way. So it's not even a clear bet. It's just he doesn't know what he's talking about. I don't know how to prove it.
That's what they all think that they can sail around the equator, which they don't realize, I guess, that there's a bunch of land in the way. It's not something you can sail around. So I mean, I've often thought about that too, and thinking that that's really one way you can prove it. But I feel like even if we took a boat and we went down south, which again, you're not going to be allowed to go past the 66 South parallel without extra fuel, and of course they don't allow you to go down with extra fuel, so that just eliminates the whole thing right away. I mean, that's what you should tell him when he brings up that bet, is just say, okay, get permission for us to take extra fuel below the 66th, and then we just start sailing. Now the problem with that is again, kind of like this caller talking about the plane. I feel like if you use GPS, of course the GPS is set to the globe proportion. So if you travel down there, and that's why when I talk about the Catharsis 2 or these other boats that travel down south, they come back and their miles per hour or their knots is just ridiculous. They say that they went 4 knots. When you're like, well, that boat can do 30. So why is it only doing 4 in the south? But again, if your distances are calculated based on the globe, then you do the math and it comes back that they only traveled 4 knots. How could you ever prove that they're actually traveling a greater distance? I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Hey, what about the Alex Jones challenge where he said, I'll pay to go to Antarctica?
Right. Where's he? Dave, come on. You got his number. You got his cell phone number.
Well, he's no longer talking flat Earth. He's no longer talking flat Earth. But he saw Taboo Conspiracies, Antarctica is closed, and I think he gave up. Just because he's like, wow, you can't do it.
Right. All right, let's go to the 303. You're on with Jeran DITRH Monday Night Raw. Who's this? And I also...
Hey, Jeranism, Dave and Jason. How are you guys?
Hey, what's going on? Good. And I did want to mention that the guy who was last on, if people didn't hear his email address, if you want to contact him about his plane idea, and he is a pilot, and I don't know if he has a plane or... It was Time Moles, right? Is that what you guys heard?
Yeah, timemoles@gmail.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Sounds right, yeah.
All right, go ahead, caller. Sorry.
Well, okay, so Jason, I think with the 34 years ago, when they faked that space shuttle explosion, they didn't expect some guy named Jason to look up the SSDI.
Yeah, interesting.
Right?
Well, that might be a possibility. So they staged something,
and they had no anticipation that this other guy with the channel, Dennis Gannon, has this Challenger hoax channel on YouTube. In 1986, they had no concept that this was going to be the thing that people did.
Well, you would think they would.
Your genius brain. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say with this, Dr. Carver, you would think they would have figured it out by 2014.
Right. Well, some of the astronauts are on there. I forget now if it was 3 or 4 of them, like Frank Scobie was on there, but not all of them. So
when did they go on there? Do we know? Was it last year? Was it 10 years ago?
That's what I want to know, but I don't have any idea how to get that information.
Right.
But that would be a damned interesting thing to find out.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that's just crazy is all the twins that popped up.
The 2 of them have twins. What are the odds?
Right. And they're and those twins are now teaching in schools and, big NASA fans and, go out speaking about NASA and everything else. Of course. Go ahead, caller. Sorry.
Well, no, you're right. You guys are right. But back in 1986, they never saw Jason Lindgren coming. And he had this genius idea to say, well, wait a minute. If these people really died, they'll be on this list.
They didn't even see the internet coming.
Right, but they're still... Today, these things happen, and people don't end up on the list. So there might be something more to it.
Right, we're just trying to figure out
why...
Well,
they think we're that stupid, Dave.
Not others.
They think we're that stupid, and they're that stupid.
Yeah,
exactly.
They have to calculate that they know 10% of people are always going to be questioning everything that they put out, and as long as that number stays at 10%, and it stays at 10%, because as long as you have the other 90% believing in it, then when the 10% brings it up, they just get kind of shunned, and like we talked about with the social credit score, that'd be a great way to make sure that it never gets brought up, and you keep that number below 10.
Right.
So for the three of you, if once the social credit score gets kicked in, if you're ever in Colorado, I got a bridge that I'll be living under that you guys are welcome to come join me.
Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Love you all. Thank you for the show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that sleeping bag.
All right, boys, I've got a question. So you've seen the recent rocket launch. So I think what wasn't the Go Fast, but one of the rockets went up. I think Eero presented it with a thermometer, and it went to almost absolute zero.
Right.
Do you recall that? What altitude was that?
Far. 100?
It was like 100,000 feet?
No, 100 miles?
100 miles?
I think that's what Eero says, but
okay. Yeah, all right. So that's absolute zero, and it was done during the daytime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're told that when these astronauts are doing spacewalks, that every 90 minutes, their sunrise, sunset, they're going from, 200 degrees Fahrenheit to negative 200 degrees Fahrenheit, right? At what altitude does that heat kick in if we're at absolute zero at 100 miles?
It's supposed to be heat through, I always forget the difference, convection versus...
Right, but if the rocket's up in the daytime in the sunlight, shouldn't it be 200 degrees rather than absolute zero?
Well, if it's radioactive heat, meaning that's heat traveling through space, this is the mainstream view on this. It doesn't actually interact with anything until it hits an object, whether that's the atmosphere of the Earth or said
or
rocket,
the thermometer on the rocket. It should the thermometer on the rocket should be the same as the astronaut doing the spacewalk, where they're experiencing these huge fluctuations in temperature from light to dark. So when does that heat kick in? They're hitting absolute zero at these lower altitudes.
But is that what they say when you're talking about a spacewalk? I don't know if I've ever heard 200 plus 200. I think that's what they talk about on the moon.
I heard it they said it during the spacewalks also.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't understand how the suits are supposed to compensate for those radical temperature differences. I've never understood that.
It's got Gore-Tex in it, dude.
It's made with unobtainium.
And it has one atmosphere of pressure, so it wouldn't even expand.
Right, yeah, that's it, yeah.
That's it, yeah, exactly. 214, you're on with Jeran DITRH. Bronto. 214. Hello.
Hey, I'm a huge fan, guys. I just discovered Russian vids, and my mind is like Swiss cheese. I feel like I'll never be the same person I was.
It's supposed to do that.
Before I discovered him.
Wow, he just put out a video today with the astronauts dropping stuff, a new version of it. It's really good.
Yeah, I've seen that, but what blew my mind, guys, is the hidden symbolism that's out there. It's unreal. It's sick. It's disgusting. It's scary when you kind of watch his videos and you see the symbols that are out there. Like I said, I'm never going to be the same. How did it make you guys feel when you guys got woke to Russian vids?
Russian vids and I kind of woke up at the same time, so I've been talking with Russian vids for many years. And unfortunately for you, most of his stuff has been wiped off of YouTube.
All right, a lot of that stuff is so old. Yeah. Because he had channel after channel.
I literally just found him. I'm talking about less than a week ago. That's why I'm still so dude, it's almost like when I found Flat Earth originally. It was exactly like that. It's exactly like that. I'm addicted to it. I'm like, wait, what the hell? I mean, a lot of this stuff in my mind goes a little over the mark, but then some of this stuff, I think it makes sense. So it's like, I don't know if the guy is a genius, which he kind of is, or a goofball, or a mix of in between. It's hard to tell. I like him. But
you discover him last week?
Some of this stuff? Literally less than a week, guys. And I've been addicted to his stuff, like when I first found out the Earth was flat.
Did you discover him last week on our show?
Yeah, well, I think I found the interview of you and Chris Jericho, and I don't know how I discovered that, but I listened to that whole thing, and I was like, wait, what? And then, dude, I know some 33rd degree Masons. Like, I know some people that are adults and that are, and they're really super powerful attorneys. And here in Texas, I know some. And I'm just like, wait, wow. And like the cremation of care ceremony of Bohemian Grove. Oh, dude, I am addicted to Russian. Because, dude, guys, we're so screwed. NASA is so full of crap. And it takes somebody with one brain cell to look into it and tell it's all BS. But nobody's going to even do it. We're all like zombies. So
maybe you could answer my question. My question, tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern, I'm doing another interview with the Jeffrey Doherty, the Christian whistleblower, and these guys believe in the moon landing.
I'm so sorry.
Dude, it's impossible. I mean, dude, if you look at the lunar
maybe he does.
lander,
Maybe he doesn't at this point. But his sidekick, this guy that he has on all the time, he totally believes in the moon landing.
His sidekick's kind of a ding dong.
Okay. I got to tell you this, Dave. I'm such a nut job. I'm thinking about going to Houston. They have it where you can have lunch with an astronaut. You pay like $120. And I'd like to ask an astronaut just a simple question. It's just a simple question. If we can't go outside of low Earth orbit today, how did we do it in 1969 to 1972? I mean, that's the only question they have to answer.
They had that.
What technology is different?
They lost it, dude.
They lost it.
Yeah, Don Pettit. I mean, dude, that Don Pettit is autistic, dude. The guy.
Googly eyes?
I mean,
Mr. Googly eyes himself?
Satan worshiper 33, Freemason, just like Buzz Aldrin. They're all crooks. They don't want us to know God exists.
Here's the problem.
And remember, NASA only picks one out of 1,000 applicants, and that's what we got was Don Pettit.
Dude, the easiest brainwashable MK Ultra applicants they can find. Exactly. Oh my God! Don't even get me started. Go ahead, Dave.
No, here's the problem. You sound like we all sound, and we all sound insane because when you find out the truth, you just can't friggin' believe it. And if we let ourselves really express how we felt, we would sound like absolute lunatics.
Right.
And that is literally the problem here.
Dave, I'm in Dallas, and I actually introduced myself to you the first night of Owen Benjamin, and I just snuck into the Flat Earth Conference just for like an hour, and I have your app. So I didn't want to feel like I'm mooching, but I can't tell one soul that I believe in Flat Earth. I brought it up to my girlfriend. I brought it to my friends. I can only be there for 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, it would be like a stain on my whole life if I was to.
You snuck into the conference, but you have the app. I guess that's a wash.
Yeah, well, we'll allow it.
No, I mean, what I'm saying is I'm a huge fan. I support you guys, no doubt about it. I'm just saying it sucks being the only one. It's like I feel very lonely, like I'm the only one that knows
this
the
is what
truth
you have
of the
to
world.
do. You have to.
Everybody here is just an idiot.
You have to make new friends. You have to make new Flat Earth friends. You have to go to the conference next year, flatearthvegas.com. Coming soon.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, maybe. I do need to go. But guys, it's a scarlet letter, and it sucks because it's the truth.
I disagree.
Guys, the moon landing.
I disagree. I'm making sweaters now with FE on them, okay?
And we'll all wear them?
We're all going to wear them. We're going to wear the scarlet FE.
My chicken soup for that ailment was to start a show on Monday nights, and then David became the guest host, and then when I started a show on Sundays with Glowbusters, and then we started a show on Fridays. So eventually, I'm just going to have a 7-day-a-week schedule where all I do is talk with flat earthers, because I know what you're saying. It gets real cold.
It's interesting to talk about because it's the truth. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's just hidden in plain sight. So
life is not boring.
It's the best thing to talk about.
Yep. And then the other 99% are just completely and totally brainwashed, and they just don't see it. don't know what else you can say about it.
It's like, my girlfriend knows I'm a flat earther, but I have to lie and say I'm just doing it sarcastically, and it's just disgusting.
You need to step up to the plate, my friend.
I'm a flat earth shield to my family.
You are. You need to step up to the plate, admit it, and show them and gift them the app. By the way, someone in the chat was asking about gifting the app, and if for Android, just email me. I can sell you gift cards, and you can send them to them and get everybody on the app.
Where do they email you?
The app's great. You look at the app; it makes
info
so much
at theflatearthpodcast.com. Info at theflatearthpodcast.com. For Android, I'm selling them for $2 a piece. And you can you email the people the card. It has a code on it. They download it. And then you now have somebody that's joined the club and that you can actually have a conversation with. I went to a Christmas party over the weekend, and the conversation was lovely. We talked about football, and we talked about Star Wars, and we talked about how they subscribe to the Disney Channel because their kids are young, and it's important to have Disney, and weather, and, the election, and how Kim Jong-un is probably going to blow us up eventually with nukes. This is the entire conversation of the party. In the middle of the party, I walked out. I walked down the hallway. I called up Matt, and I just ranted for 30 seconds. I said, all right, that's it. I got to go.
So my question to the caller, though, is do you think it might be possibly time for a new girlfriend?
No, no, I don't think that's the case.
All right, well,
guys,
checking.
Just remember, listen, flat
You're
Earth.
never going to convince NASA's. The problem is people don't want to believe NASA's full of shit, and I think that is the breaking point. People believe that BS, and that's where the whole
because it looks pretty
misses. People believe NASA. That's the only ball proof they have.
Your goal for
NASA lied in 1969. They started lying in 1958, and they never stopped. And that's a fact. And I mean, it take a mental midget could figure that out.
Your goal for 2020 is to wake up your girlfriend. That's your goal. All right? Get it done before the spring, my friend.
Hey, guys, if people listening out there, if you don't know Russian vids and you don't want to sleep for 2 days, Google Russian vids, Illuminati 33, and you're going to be very entertained, to say the least. Okay. Hey, you guys are doing the best work, Dave, especially you, Jeran, big fans, love Glowbusters, love everything. So thank you guys, and I appreciate calling.
Hey, and give us your girlfriend's phone number or email address. I want to talk to her.
Hey, what's going on?
Dave, bye.
We put you live on the air.
Yeah.
All right, later.
Question.
Yeah, I'm sure she likes that. Yeah. If you guys are going to think y'all are crazier than me, go ahead, Dave. She's going to laugh in your face like she's laughing mine, sadly. All right, bye.
I keep my open for a new one. That's just.
Do you think there's anybody else listening to this show that doesn't know who Russian Vids is?
I'm surprised all the time when people say things like that, but that's why we have them on. That's why we talk about them. That's why we always bring them up. That's why we have to bring up Crow, because I've had a lot of people email me and say, you introduced me to Crow, and it's like they've been listening to me for 4 years. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? I've been talking about him for 4 years. How did you just now? But I think we always assume people listen to everything that we do. And that's just not the case.
No, absolutely. You're right. I like making jokes about it, but people say it all the time. Same thing. Right. I just started listening to Crow. That's crazy.
That's usually when they end up binging for 3 days straight and go, oh my God.
Unfortunately, now it's tough because you guys are almost 200 episodes. To catch up, it's brutal. I mean,
That's true.
So here's my suggestion for people that if you're not subscribed to Crow, subscribe to Crow, listen to the Thursday podcast, and then for the rest of the week, start from the beginning and listen to as many as you can. Boom. The next week, you listen to Thursday, and then keep on going until you catch up. That way you get the current stuff, you get all of the base information, and by the time those two meet, when you catch up, you're a completely different person.
Yep. Owen Benjamin will attest to that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, seriously, it changed the guy for the better. And I love it. I love to see what he was like before to how he is now. It's not just the work that Crow and I have done, but I know we contributed a good chunk to that.
No, and I love he's at least he's honest by saying that, hey, I don't believe everything that Crow says, but I listen to everything and I take the good and I don't know, you think about it for a week or two and sometimes it changes your mind. But you have to be open to everything that you hear. That's the hardest thing, to find people that are into doing that. Who just texted me? Was that Dave?
No.
All right. Oh, no, it's not. Let's go to the 616. You're on with Journalism on Air. What's up? 616. You've been on hold for 18 minutes. Possibly Michigan. 616. Okay, let's try that again. Let's go to 216. You're on with Journalism on Air. Who's this?
Jeff from Cleveland. How you doing, guys? Hey, have you seen the new creature they found? The space mouse. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that. Where did I see that?
I think Bob showed it.
Oh yeah, it was like on the ISS or something. No. On one of the SpaceX launches, in the engine that they showed the engine, while it's flying through space, inside the engine you see this mouse walk around.
No, it's outside the engine.
Yeah, outside the engine, but it was like in like a vent or whatever.
Just above it.
Crack. Yes.
Yeah.
Crack. Yeah.
So I mean, that is their video. I mean, what do they say?
Yeah, I don't know what they would say. I mean, I've seen little pieces of something that seem to be flying off. Of course, people will say that's, I don't know, frozen oxygen or something. I don't know what they claim that is, frozen bits. And I'm assuming that's what they'll say, is that's just a little piece of frozen
fuel, frozen helium.
There you go, frozen helium crawling along the inside of the craft, I guess.
And it looked like it was crawling. It was evaporating.
No, they zoomed in on it. You can see it's a mouse.
What kind of mouse?
Would say squeak.
It's long. It's like a rat.
Yeah, I don't know, because I think some of those videos are just done like when they do the test rocket firings, and they basically fire into a black hole. That's what it seems like the videos are to me, and I'm like, I don't think that a rat would survive that. But again, I don't know what we're looking at. Who knows?
Well, if you see it, it's funny because it's clear as day.
Yeah, I don't know what channel that was on. It was like on some channel that speaks another language, wasn't it? Or who else have you seen a video? Have you seen anybody we would recognize doing a video on it?
No, I've just seen it on Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Dave, you don't remember the name of the channel?
You can find it. It's good.
No, okay. I don't.
I'm putting a note that we will bring it up and show it next week, so that at least people.
Looking forward to it.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
Take care, guys.
All right, and one last time, 616. Speak now.
How dumb are we?
There you go.
How dumb are we?
How dumb are we?
Oh, very.
You guys are talking about dummies. I want to know how dumb you are.
Well, I'm a borderline genius. I don't know about the rest of you guys.
I'll attest to that.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Well, it all started out. You don't know what you don't know. If you don't know, we all started out dumb, didn't we?
For sure.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, well, the question was, we're all dummies anyway. I mean, the question is how dumb you are. Now you're a genius? Because you figured out the earth is flat?
Right. That was a fun call. Just dumped that one. I had no idea what he was getting at.
Hey, guys, you want to hear something hysterical?
Yes.
I just ran the SSDI for John F. Kennedy.
Don't tell me.
He's not on there.
Okay, wait a second. Russian Vids is celebrating now.
For November of 1963, I'll be specific. I just ran it several times while we were listening to that guy rant about nothing.
Right.
Maybe they're just trying to make it look now like it's not such an accurate index. Not everybody gets entered.
Which makes no sense. I mean, it should be quite easy. Everyone gets a social security number, and then when they pass away, it goes on the index. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. I was going to, for my prediction about who's going to die this year, I thought it was pretty easy. Number one, Kirk Douglas, but that's an easy guess. He's 100 and something.
Isn't he dead already?
No, I don't think so. And the other one was Jimmy Carter, but a lot of people say that that's actually Kennedy.
Yeah, I don't buy that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure I buy that one either. But that's my two predictions. Although it's probably not nice to predict who's going to die, but I think Kirk Douglas is like 103. So that's kind of cheating when you...
I thought he had actually passed away already, but...
Did he? I might be wrong.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I thought he had, but I'm really not much of one for obsessing over celebrities, so I could be totally wrong. Maybe it's one of those crazy Mandela things.
Yeah, I don't know. Kirk Douglas, I think he's still alive. December 9th, 1916, age 103. I don't know.
No, he's still alive. Yep.
All right. We're running out of time.
Are we?
Yep.
All right. No more calls. Sorry. The caller board dropped. All right, guys. Tune in Sunday for Globebusters, Friday for The Lounge. Dave's got his interview tomorrow with who?
With Jeffrey Doherty at 3 p.m.
Is that live?
It is live, but it's on the Jeffrey Doherty channel. I would post it on Facebook, but I'm still in jail. Looks like forever, and my page is just sitting there.
How dare you? All right, guys. Have fun. Until next week. Peace.
See ya.
Truth Frequency Radio is your number one source for news and information without the hate, hype, and fear. We're proud to feature cutting-edge programs like The Christopher Everard Show, The Covert Report with Susan Lindauer, Enemy Within Radio with Tom Barnes, Freaky Friday with The Woo Crew, The Gematria Effect with Zachary Hubbard, America's Evil Genius with Travis Cook, Phoenix Rising Radio with Phoenix, Quantum Connections with Lucky, and dozens more. Did you know you can listen from any telephone by dialing 641-793-7117 or call into your favorite show toll free at 833-TFR-LIVE. Uncensored talk and news you won't hear in the mainstream media. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
Hanukkah stabbing, Texas church shooting. I'm Ann Cates. The man accused of stabbing 5 people at a Hanukkah party north of New York City has been accused of hate crimes. Correspondent Steve Kastenbaum reports authorities found anti-Semitic evidence.
The charges filed in federal court allege that Grafton Thomas kept a journal filled with anti-Semitic writing, as well as an admiration for the Black Hebrew Israelites, a fringe group not associated with mainstream Judaism. Federal prosecutors claim that Thomas used his cell phone to search for, quote, Zionist temples, end quote. His family said he had a history of mental illness for which he had been treated over time.
The gunman who opened fire in a Fort Worth area church was shot to death by a specially trained parishioner. Correspondent Clayton Neville.
After the gunman shot 2 parishioners at West Freeway Church of Christ in White Settlement, Jack Wilson says he did what was necessary to save lives.
I don't feel like I killed an individual, I killed evil, and that's how I'm approaching